Welcome back to 101 East. We are in Manila, Philippines, discussing the issue of the challenges faced by the Philippine National Police in keeping the peace in the Philippines. Joining us now is the head of Metro Manila Police, Chief Superintendent Roberto Rosales. Also, we have human rights lawyer, attorney Harry Roque. General, if I could just throw the first question to you, there seems to be this public perception that the police are above the law here. We've spoken to some people who have a fear of the police, not respect, but a fear of the police. Where do you think this perception comes from?
Well, we respect their opinion on that. But the thing is, the Philippine National Police try its best to respect the human rights of every individual. Actually, we have in our as an institution, we have established this human rights desk in all of our police offices nationwide. And also, we have incorporated in our curriculum, in mandatory courses, human rights subjects.
The thing is, it's one thing to be trained and to learn about it. It's another thing practicing it when you're on the beat, isn't it? When you're in the actual moment, when you're on the streets. How does that human rights training kick in?
In the overzealousness in the implementation of the law, there's a thin line now between the doing your job and the abuse of force or excessive use of force, I mean.
Attorney Harry, I just want to throw this question to you. Does the public have justification in their distrust in the Philippine National Police?
Well, unfortunately, yes. The lack of faith in the police is born by the painful experience of the Filipino people. No? We have not one, but two international reports issued by the UN right now, one on extralegal killings and another on torture, both of which condemn the police, together with the AFP, as partly to blame for the problems of extralegal killings and torture, not only because of the failure to investigate properly these cases, but also because some cases of torture and extralegal killings are being conducted by the police themselves. No? So what do you think, or how do you expect the people to react when the very same peoples that they expect to protect them against criminality are themselves accused of these kinds of criminality?
Well, that being the case, how difficult is it to prosecute the police?
Well, it's very difficult. In fact, that's our advocacy right now. We believe that part of the response or part of the solution to putting an end to extralegal killings and torture in the Philippines is to hold individuals liable for their acts. No? We have filed civil cases against the police whenever they violate constitutional rights. We're holding them liable criminally for extralegal killings. This is very new because the rule in the past is that you fear elements of the state. Now, what we're doing is actually not only new, but very bold because it's not every day that you stand up against people who have the right to carry guns and you don't.
General, how is the force taking the number of cases that are filed against them?
We are onion skinned when it comes to cases that are filed against our people. And we have in our system that there is this, what we call the command responsibility, that whenever a person under command was involved in a wrongdoing, you have to do something, otherwise you will also be charged with the same offense.
Well, I'm very happy, in fact, that the good general mentioned command responsibility because this is a legal principle that the Philippines contributed to the whole world. No? But you see, again, in the report submitted to the UN by the Special Rapporteur in Extralegal Killings, one of his conclusions is that the Philippines must fully implement the concept of command responsibility, hold individuals criminally liable pursuant to this principle, and not just adhere to it as a matter of principle. And of course, in his follow-up report, 2 years later, he said that since the time he submitted his initial report to the UN in 2007 until 2009, not a single prosecution has been conducted involving command responsibility.
Let's talk about the heat of the moment itself. You know, I think we've got something like some 10 civilians have been killed in shootouts in the last 9 months itself. Are these shootouts actually necessary? Is there any way of avoiding these shootouts?
Actually, this can all be avoided if only the officers will announce that, well, you're all, we have surrounded you and you have to give up your arms and raise your hands. That would avoid. But we have a lot of criminal elements here that they would rather shoot it out with our policemen. That's why it is so hard on our part, simply because we still have to prove who shot first. Now, would you allow that you will be hit first, then you hit back? But what we would like to impress here is that the policemen are there to protect our people, and if we are running after these criminal elements, and they are armed and dangerous, well, we have to equally arm ourselves and protect ourselves.
That's understandable, isn't it, Attorney Harry?
Correct, but I think the problem is a misconception on the nature of human rights obligations. No? Human rights obligations are obligations on the part not just of the state, but particularly individuals who give a face to the state, including policemen. And the nature of this human rights obligation is either you're in breach or you're in compliance, specifically with the right to life. No? And all these shootouts show, number one, a misconceived perception on the part of the police that it's okay to engage in shootouts with criminal elements even if there are incidental loss of lives. Why is it wrong to think that way? Because number one, in the first place, they're applying the concept of collateral damage, which is not applicable to the police. It's only applicable to the military.
Well, let me just stop you there. Many of the policemen that I've spoken to, some who have been involved in shootouts, have told me sometimes we wonder what is the point of arresting these suspects and them going through the judicial system when the judicial system just lets them out again.
Well, you see, cases will be thrown out if the policemen don't do their job correctly. The prosecutor will depend on the evidence gathered by the policemen. And of course, if the policemen do not know how to properly process evidence, the case will not prosper in court. Now, we have a problem with extralegal killings. We've conducted tons of training involving judges, prosecutors, and policemen, and we've identified actually the inherent weakness in our investigative pillar of the criminal justice system, the police. Why? Because among others, they have wrong perceptions about how they should conduct their investigations. The official manual says that in case of a major crime, identify the suspect. Common sense tells you that you should gather the evidence first, and as a result of the evidence gathered, then proceed to identify the suspect. So what happens? Because the mandate is look for an individual who's the suspect. If you can't find evidence, you resort to torture, which in fact is included in the report on the UN Committee on Torture, identifying the police in particular as being in breach of the obligation to right to life because they substitute torture for honest-to-goodness investigative work.
Some policemen who we've spoken to also say that they do not have support from the organization that they work with. Let me just show you these things. You know, they say that their salaries are very low compared to the danger that they have to face every day. They receive only 24 bullets a year and are expected to buy their own. They're given faulty or dated firearms, which are no match to the advanced weapons held by the criminals. A recent report showed that 90% of police can't shoot straight, and most of them don't know how to clean their guns.
I don't agree on all of this.
It really doesn't seem that there's much of a support for the men and women in blue.
Yeah, first of all, the 90% report that the policemen cannot shoot. Actually, it was even the Secretary of Interior and Local Government, the Honorable Secretary Ronaldo Puno, who disputed the statement of one of his commissioners. And,
what about the other issues, like 24 bullets a year? They're expected to buy their own bullets. They're not given proper firearms. Well, half of the force doesn't have firearms.
No, that's not right.
No, that's on the Philippine National Police website.
But here in the National Capital Region, all of our policemen are armed, short and long firearms. They do not buy their own bullet because the National Capital Region Police Office provide their bullets. And we have this regular training on the firearm proficiency. So how will you say that they are not provided with bullets?
Now, just before we go, what do you think, Attorney Harry Roque, what do you think needs to be addressed so that the public can have faith again in their police force?
Well, in fairness to the police, I think the public distrusts them because they are the law. They represent the law. And when they say they distrust the police, what they're actually saying is they have lost faith in the entire legal system itself. What is really scary to me is when Human Rights Watch reported that in one city in the Philippines alone, there are already 855 victims of vigilante killing. What was particularly scary was not the figure, but the fact that many people in that city considered vigilante killing as being acceptable. What does that tell us? That tells us that people have given up on the legal system. They would rather let goons kill people summarily without hearing them out. And, you know, the fact that no one can be safe now because they have lost faith in the system. What should be done really is to put an end to this culture of impunity, send people to jail when they commit crimes, and that is without any exception.
General, would you agree that the police need to be held accountable for their actions, and that is how you win the trust, the public trust?
The police organization is doing its best so that we could win the hearts and minds of the people. And even we go to a lot of projects of which this does not concern anymore the peace and order concern of the police. Like, for example, clean and green. The policemen are there. We also provide these medical and dental missions. This is not supposed to be the job of the policeman, but still we go out of our way just to win the hearts and minds of the people. And rest assured that here in the National Capital Region and also the rest of the Philippine National Police, we're doing our best so that we could raise the level of trust and confidence of the Filipino people to their police.
We're going to have to leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us in this discussion. That's all the time we have from the 101 East team here in Manila, Philippines. Thanks very much for watching.